Welcome everyone to the webinar. This webinar is being recorded. South Orange Chiropractic Center is pleased to present how to get the best sleep of your life starting now. In this 30-minute presentation, Dr. Roczy will share valuable research and tips on how to improve your sleep. There will be time for some questions at the end of the presentation, and we'll be taking questions through the chat feature only. And that's located at the bottom of your screen. So just feel free to post your questions there throughout the presentation, and we'll ask your questions at the end of the session. We do have a few questions already that were emailed in from folks that couldn't make it today during this live presentation. Please keep your microphones on mute so our presentation does not pick up any background noise. And with that, Dr. Roczy, please take it away. Oh, Dr. Roczy, we just need you to unmute.
Hi.
Okay, no worries.
Great.
Please
All right.
take it from the top.
Not a problem. Hello, everybody. It's really important when we're talking about our health and wellness that we consider sleep. But there truly are 6 health factors that need to be considered in order to get the best healthy lifestyle and optimize your well-being. And those are exercise, good mental attitude, proper nutrition, spinal health, posture, and most importantly, sleep. And most people think, you know what, if I sleep more, I'm going to be able to have a healthier quality of life. Now, the reverse is if you sleep less, I could just go without it and it's no big deal and I can make it up the next day. But that's not true. You have to sleep every night 6 to 8 hours, because if you sleep more, there's consequences for your health, your brain, your heart. Also, if you sleep less, there's studies that show that it's more related to stroke. So our approach today is getting you the best information in order to get the best night's sleep. So let's talk about REM sleep, because that's an important question that comes up quite often. And patients are always asking me, what is it? So REM sleep is extremely important because it helps to enhance your mood regulation and, more importantly, your mental concentration. And it helps your brain consolidate all the information that's coming in and going out throughout the day. Now, REM sleep is also a stage in which most frequently you're going to be dreaming vividly. If you've had a dream last night, guess what? You hit your REM cycle. So how much of the night should you be in REM sleep? So out of your full 8 hours, typically only about 2 of those hours are spent in REM. And again, REM is when your body is repeating the healing process, the learning process for your brain, connecting those neural pathways that have been used all day, so you're ready to regurgitate, retain, and give out the best information possible. So out of your night's sleep, 5 cycles are spent going in and out of different circadian rhythms. And only 25% of those, 25% is your REM cycle. So what happens when you have lack of REM sleep? Well, you might have one of those coworkers that constantly comes in and they're like saying, hey, I've never slept well. I'm so tired today. Give me another cup of coffee. Well, yeah, that can happen. You could be tired. But also, lack of REM sleep gives you an emotional roller coaster throughout the day. You're able to, come in, do your job, but are you moody? Are you tired? Are you responding negatively? Those are some of the responses or results of patients not sleeping well enough. Other physical effects of not sleeping are migraines, all right, weight gain, obesity. Some other things that patients don't know about are immunity deficiencies. Lack of sleep can definitely lead to that. Also, there's blockage of new and improved health tissue that's supposed to rejuvenate after you've used and abused your body all day long. And remember, it can come mentally, it could come physically, it could come chemically. Your body is undergoing oxidation all day long, and it needs that time to repair and recycle. So REM sleep, absolutely important. How many hours should we sleep every night? 6 to 8 hours. Can you make it up? No. And is it good to sleep more than 8 hours? Absolutely not. In less than 6 hours? No way. So let's start off by some better tips for better sleep. And that starts basically throughout the day, during your sleep routine, your bedroom environment, those could all be improved in order to get you the best night's rest. So let's talk about daily wellness. What can you do during the day that can affect your sleep? Well, one is exercise. Everyone should be getting exercise at least 30 minutes a day. It's so important for the body to be used and become vitalistic, because unless you use it, you lose it. The other thing is exposure to the daylight. Most people don't realize that our circadian rhythm is directly related to how we fall asleep. And early exposure to that light is going to help your body start to align with your sleep-wake patterns. All right. So get at least 30 minutes a day. How can you do it? Well, one is roll down the window of your car, have your coffee in front of your breakfast or your coffee in front of your window each morning. It's simple as that, but 30 minutes during the sunlight. And one other thing is you can combine it. You can exercise, go for a walk, and still get that sunlight throughout your day to start to get your rhythms back in pattern. Now, another tip is go to bed and wake up the same time every day. A consistent schedule is definitely linked to improved sleep, and the timing of every day activities such as meals and sleep meals can impact your sleep patterns. So what can we do? One, set a consistent wake up time. All right. So if your wake up time is 4 a.m., it should be 4 a.m. every day. Start your day with the same routine. Is it get up, get out, brush your teeth, take a shower? It's telling your body what to expect throughout the day. Have breakfast and lunch and dinner around the same time. And if you're eating dinner late at night, it should be very light. All right. Each day. Now, how about if you're tired? Should you take a nap throughout the day? Absolutely. You can nap once or twice a day, but they only state that it should be about 15 to 20 minutes, because anything longer than 20 minutes can ultimately interrupt your night pattern. So if it's 20 minutes, perfect. It's called a power nap. Get up, power through the rest of your day, but then again, go back to your evening routine. Now, what can we do for diet? How is our diet going to affect us? Well, one is, you can imagine, heavy, greasy foods. That's not going to put you to sleep. It's going to ultimately cause your body to process. I don't know how many times you've gone to a family event or a barbecue and you have a horrible night sleeping. Well, that's because your body's doing something called metabolizing. It's breaking down that food. You might wake up hot, irritated, you're going through a sweat. That's because you overate. So before you go to sleep, you should limit how much you eat. And you should also do it no later than 6 p.m. every night. And they're recommending that it's a lighter quality food, more fruits, more vegetables, so that your body has an easier time breaking that down. Ultimately, your largest meal should be throughout the afternoon. However, most people go home and celebrate that they're home with their family and friends. So just keep that in mind. Fruits and vegetables, whole grains, vitamins and nutrients that allow the body to function optimally and that are able to break down pretty well. Do not interrupt your sleep patterns and help create a better night's rest. All right. The big thing I like is we have stress all day. And just remember, stress comes from you, not to you. And it's how you respond and react to the environment that's bringing the stress towards you. But you can actually fight off your stress. And you can fight it off through different techniques, such as, deep breathing, visualizations, exercise. But learning these relaxation techniques can ultimately improve your ability to sleep. Or if you're woken up in the middle of the night, you can do some pattern interruptions. So I figured we might talk about one, which is diaphragmatic breathing. And that's shown to improve your mood, your anxiety, your sleep, and slow down your heart rate and even lower cortisol. Because when you're not sleeping and your body's in a panic mode, flight or fight, it's honestly releasing too much cortisol, which is causing more anxiety, more stress, and more detriment to your bones, your tissues, and organs. So let's talk about a breathing technique that can help you sleep better, calm your mind down. And it starts off by the 4-7-8 cycle. So it's breathing in through your nose for 4 seconds and then holding it for 7 seconds. After 7 seconds, you want to open your mouth and exhale all the way out for about 8 seconds. So remember, diaphragmatic breathing means you're not breathing from the chest, you're breathing from the diaphragm, which is deep. So you want to suck in as much air as you can for 4 seconds through your nose. Hold it for 7 seconds. And after 7 seconds, release that for 8 seconds. Ultimately, you're going to feel more relaxed, tired. And after 4 cycles of doing this, you might just fall back to sleep. All right. Now, with your sleep routine, it's so important that you get that 6 to 8 hours of sleep. The National Sleep Foundation stated it's an absolute. It's an absolute. And why it matters is because at night, all your body's job to do is to heal itself. And the only time it has to do it is during those REM cycles that we spoke about. So most people don't know if they're sleeping properly or how much they're sleeping. So what we're recommending is that everyone, if you're waking up tired and you're not so sure, get a smartwatch or a smart ring and start to calculate how much you're sleeping. It's amazing because then you can ultimately do increments of 30 minutes of when you should fall asleep, or maybe you should go to sleep a little bit earlier, but figure out where exactly in your time frame is your sleep affected the most. So for me, I used to fall asleep around 9:30. Well, according to my sleep watch, it stated that if I just fall asleep around 9:30, 10 o'clock, I actually have a lot more deeper REM cycles, but I didn't know that until the technology existed. So I would highly invest, go out there, get a watch that works for you, but figure out, are you getting the right amount of sleep and recovery? And that's usually done through a smartwatch. Now, other techniques that we can talk about for reducing stress and calming activities are deep breathing, which we spoke about. But how about if you wake up at night, maybe journaling, speaking, writing down what happened during your day, getting out of your bed briefly and stretching, reading, meditating, listening to ambient music or a light podcast with rain and thunderstorms. It's a different way to get your body to relax. Now, the other thing is, how do you use your bed? Well, most people sometimes watch TV. I've known couples to eat in their bed. It's true. Beds are for just 2 things. One, for sleeping and possibly sex. All right. So keep that in mind. When you're using your bed, it's for those 2 things. Otherwise, your body gets used to too much time spending on awakeness, and it starts to stimulate bed with watching TV or bed with checking out the news. So think about that next time. Now, one of the things is, I never knew this, but if I had a bad night sleep and I meditated and I stretched and I read and I journaled and I still couldn't go back to bed, I toss and I turn. But there is a study out there that says after 20 minutes, tossing and turning in bed can lead to frustration, which we ultimately know, and can create more habits of sleeplessness. So they say, get out of your bed, go and do something different, and try those other tips that we spoke about to relax your mind. And then when you feel tired, get back into your bed, and hopefully your body will result in going to rest. All right. Now, before you go to bed, it's really important. We have so many electronic devices around us, and this is a biggie. One is, you should never use your electronic device right before you go to bed. Put it on silent mode, put it on airplane mode, because a lot of people are using it for their alarm clocks. You want to get rid of that radio frequency that's constantly being transmitted, sent back and forth, and put your phone into those modes. One, it's been shown to interrupt your pattern. Also, the light from your screens at night also has an effect on the brain and creates an ambient light that will actually trigger the brain to become more active. So you want to shut that off. Also, LED lights in your home, such as your alarm clock, your TV, the cable box, all of those have been shown to interrupt your sleep patterns. So how do you avoid that? One is you can turn them off, or just get a little black electrical tape and put it over any of the light sources. And let me tell you, after dimming down your room as best as possible, you're going to notice a profound effect on how well you sleep, fall asleep, and stay asleep with just a dim, dark black room. And if you have to get curtains, that would be another thing, to just black out those windows. And studies show a dark, cool room is going to give you the best night's sleep. And what would be the best temperature every night? They recommend about 68 to 65 degrees. So cool down your room and dim out those lights. Now, the other thing we recommend for our patients is definitely you want to sleep on a comfortable mattress. If you notice every day that you wake up and your back hurts or your neck hurts, you're possibly not investing in your health. So it's time to ask us, one of your greatest resources, on some of the mattresses that we definitely love and are chiropractic approved. Also, a neck pillow that's comforting, supporting, has support for your neck and your curvatures. That's also highly recommended, because if you're in a position that's relaxing, supportive, chances are you're not going to wake up. Now, let's talk about more of our sleep environment. Definitely you want to reduce the amount of noise. So if you have noisy neighbors, I can't do anything about that, but you can always use earplugs, because I'm a very sensitive sleeper. If I hear a car go by, I'm waking up. So if you have noisy neighbors or maybe a spouse that is a snorer, you can always use earplugs to just damper that down. And again, that's going to help you sleep a better night's rest. We already talked about making everything as dark as possible. We talked about keeping the room cool and between 65 and 68 degrees. All right. One other thing that's new out is aromatherapy. There's I think it's called essential oils, lavender oil. You can rub it on your palms, the back of your ears. It's just a natural relaxant that's definitely calming. I've tried it before in the past. And that's the thing with sleep. If you're having issues falling asleep, all these tips that we just spoke about, we're not going to be able to do them all, but there might be one or two that you're forgetting, or one or two that you said, hey, I just haven't tried yet. Give this a try. Aromatherapy definitely does help. But I also found something that's really interesting is nutrition. There's so much nutrition out there, and we supply to our patients ongoing to help them sleep. But I wrote down 7 of the vitamins that are out there for better sleep. And I'll just give you the list right off the top. Well, one is magnesium, melatonin, there's GABA, there's L-theanine, valerian root, and chamomile tea. And a lot of people probably heard about chamomile tea, but they state that the chamomile tea mixed with the valerian root is really, really a good, strong sleep inducer. And more importantly, if you do wake up, it's known to also be a calming factor so that your body doesn't go into a flight or fight stance. It goes right back to sleep. So that's important. And the last one was vitamin D. Some other things that we've found that have worked for our patients are CBD oils, the 750 milligrams, which is a dosage of a dropper underneath the tongue. That's helped patients tremendously. So these are just tips that we see that have helped people. And again, it's not perfect for everybody, but we're always here for you if you have a question or concern. All right. Now, let's talk about alcohol and caffeine, because I love my caffeine. I love my espresso, but I know that if I have a espresso at 5 o'clock, there is no way I'm going to sleep at 9:30, 10 o'clock. All right. Studies show that your last caffeine fix should be at 2 p.m. So if you go to bed at 8:30, 9 o'clock, you give your body the hours it needs in order to expel all of that stimulant. So you want to give it about 8 hours. Otherwise, that caffeine might just keep you up. So caffeine, and also watch out for products that you may not know that have caffeine. So some people don't realize that caffeine is in sodas, caffeine's in chocolates. It's a stimulant, it keeps you up. So just be wary of that. So if you're going to have your last coffee, make it at least 8 hours before you fall asleep. All right. The other thing is, we talked about alcohol. Well, alcohol, people go home at night and they find that it relaxes them after a hard working day. But the alcohol has been shown to, yes, put you to sleep, but disrupt your sleep patterns, eliminating your REM cycles. And ultimately that leaves you in a state of being tired and, again, mentally and physically exhausted for the next day. So limit your alcohol. So if you have 2 or 3 or 4 glasses of wine at night, start to do a reduction of 1 or 2 of those, and sooner or later you're going to notice that you may not need it. One of my suggestions for people who love wine or a beverage at night, get a club soda with a little bit of a spritzer, a flavor in it. And a lot of times it's just that sipping technique that calms the body down. It's a habit. And if we could break that habit, you can ultimately sleep a little bit better. All right. So avoid your caffeine, avoid your alcohol as much as possible. And if you have to, you want to limit it. So that's the rest of our tips. I did want to tell you guys, like this week, we've been actually this month, we've been just hitting home how important sleep is. It was one of our articles of the week. It's on our whiteboards, and it's that important. And just to sum it up, in just a couple of tidbits here, remember, set a sleep schedule and stick it out for better sleep. Create a relaxing bedtime routine. Start your night early, get into bed, stop the news an hour beforehand. Anything that's stressful, a movie, a thought, a conversation, just put it aside and know that, it's time to rest and it's time to close your eyes and get ready for the next day. Exercise daily, at least a half an hour. Make your bedroom a sanctuary from all the stresses of the day. Keep it cool, keep it dark, keep it quiet, keep it comfortable. Use pillows that conform to your spine, support your head, neck, and shoulders. And use a pillow that also won't go flat and stays cool. You don't want anything warming you up at night, especially your sheets and your covers. There's so many blankets out there that have comfort, cooling technology. Invest in your health, invest in your wellness, because ultimately you're your most important person at the end of the day. Get out of your bed if you're not sleepy, and then return after you're ready. Avoid large meals towards the evening, and alcoholic beverages right before you go to sleep. And we spoke earlier about it, was get that sun exposure, at least 30 minutes a day, in order to get your circadian rhythms in check. So I hope this helps everyone. It's just tidbits that we find successful for our patients, and I hope it's successful for you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. We have 4 questions that have come in. 2 of them are from folks that haven't heard the presentation. They were sent in ahead of time, and you may recognize that when I ask you the question, but I think they're still very valuable. So folks in the audience, please keep your questions coming in, but we'll start with the ones we have right now. So question number 1. I feel fine with 4 hours sleep. Is that just what my body requires, or should I really aim to get more sleep?
You definitely should, because one of the things is 4 hours of sleep. There was a study out there by the Health Institute for Sleep, and it was on firemen. And they ultimately have to get up and down throughout their entire shift. And they found that the firemen who had the most interrupted patterns, it led to long-term health issues for their heart disease being the number one. All right. It shortened their life expectancy. So yeah, you might be able to function, but ultimately on the inside, the organs and the body are not getting the nutrients and the repairing that they should get with 6 to 8 hours. So yes, you should be sleeping a little bit more.
Great. Next question. I like to sleep in on the weekends, and they say you can't catch up on sleep, but isn't there any benefit to sleeping in?
You know what? It's relaxing, it's soothing. So guess what? Do it. That's the benefit. You're not going to catch up for what you lost. You're just helping your body relax. It's calming. There's nothing that says it's going to do any harm to the body. So, hey, sleep in, enjoy it. It's called the weekend.
That's great. Third question. If I have a particularly mentally challenging job, could that be why I feel so tired? The rest of my life is pretty good with my nutrition and exercise, but can thinking hard all day really require more sleep?
You're absolutely right. Any type of stress, we talked about it earlier, there's physical, there's chemical, and then there's emotional. Now, emotional is you can't feel it until it's an abundance. So if you're going through that 6 to 8 hours with your boss or your work and it's emotional, yes, your body's going to be fatigued because you're releasing cortisol all day. And cortisol is a inflammatory to the body. It requires more of your energy to break it down. All right. So when your patterns are always stressed or your body's always stressed, you're going to be tired. And the second part of the question, I believe, was, am I going to be tired throughout the day? What was the second part of the question?
They say that my life is pretty good with my nutrition and exercise. Could it be that thinking hard all day does require more sleep?
Yeah, ultimately, yeah, you're using your brain. Your brain is one of the biggest organs and it requires the most amount of energy. And you're absolutely right.
Great. And we've got a last question here. If I feel fine, I don't have any aches or pains or injuries, but could some kind of general maintenance session with a chiropractor, could that help me sleep better?
You have to remember, we talked about 6 facets of health, and I'll just go over those again. The 6 facets of health are exercise, good mental attitude, proper nutrition, posture, sleep, and spinal health. And spinal health is your nervous system. And you have to remember, if your nervous system is stressed out because it's being abused or you're in poor posture or physically always stressed or lack of stress, lack of sleep, um, yeah, your nervous system is not going to communicate as optimally as it should to the rest of your body. So if chiropractic is all about your nervous system and your nervous system is all about communicating to the entire body to allow it to perform better, sleep better, move better, and think better, absolutely routine adjustments are going to be beneficial. And I'm going to tell you, I have families that have noticed it. I have athletes that have excelled from it. And it's not because they're in pain or suffering. They just found the secret that most patients don't know about, and that's called chiropractic and nervous system care. So yes, absolutely. Routine care is beneficial.
Great. Those are all the questions that have come in today. So I want to thank you very much, Dr. Roczy, for your presentation today. Thank you for everyone for joining us. If you would like to make an appointment, please call us at 908-845-4047 or book online at southorangechiropractic.com and go to the book an appointment button at the top of the page. A recording of this presentation and transcript will be available on the blog within a couple of weeks. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a great rest of the day. And this presentation is over.
Thank you.
Thank you.